I think we can all agree that it's impossible to sum up Senator Bob Hertzberg in just a few minutes, but I'll do my best. When I think of Senator Hertzberg, there are a few things that come to mind. Being here for the right reasons, to effect positive change. I think we can all agree that is one. Never shying away from the big challenge, a tireless statesman. Vision and leadership, seeing what can be and blazing that path. As a former Assembly Speaker and Senate Majority Leader, he has built a tremendous track record of policy achievements, and at the same time, he never let the fear of failure hold him back from rolling up his sleeves. I was fortunate to see that firsthand on his work bringing together the California Consumer Privacy Act, one of numerous and dozens examples. I'm reminded of two quotes from President Harry Truman. The first, progress occurs when courageous, skillful leaders seize the opportunity to change things for the better. Well, Bob wasn't just marking the passage of time. He seized his time here and didn't pass up the chance to improve the lot of our fellow Californians. It is impossible to spend even 2 minutes with Bob Hertzberg without learning something and catching his enthusiasm for policy, public service, and bringing a deal together. You just see this. The second quote, a leader is a person who can persuade people to do what they don't want to do and like it. It's something Senator Hertzberg has done too many times to count. Bob, it is absolutely no doubt that the people of the state of California will continue to benefit for years and generations to come from your service in the California State Senate and Legislature. And there's equally no doubt that Senator Hertzberg will continue working for the public good and making positive impacts. It's been an honor and a pleasure to call him a colleague and a good friend. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Dodd.
I am thrilled and honored to be able to stand here today to speak about our Majority Leader Emeritus, former Speaker of the Assembly. So colleagues, on December 5th, 1995, the LA Times ran a story about the upcoming legislative races in Los Angeles. If you make it all the way to the 24th paragraph, you will see Bob Hertzberg mentioned briefly. After that election, however, I don't think there's been a story mentioning Bob Hertzberg where he wasn't in the headline or in the lead. The lead has been rewritten and the headline changed. That has been Bob's legacy. He is that effective a leader. As Speaker of the Assembly and Majority Leader of the Senate, among the top positions this legislature offers, Bob has transformed this Capitol inside and out. We all remember the what now feeling of our first day as a legislator. Bob's emphasis on education and training made sure that many of us were prepared for the days that followed. If you came into the Assembly, you know that. I see a number of my colleagues who were part of the Hertzberg Institution and training. We're now going to have that in the Senate. Thank you, Bob. Bob has been the Senate's lead on the design of the new East Wing of the Capitol. Maybe there will be a show in the future, the East Wing, and it'll highlight Bob. Making sure that it's going to be memorable and safe, a place for the public to visit, and an effective space where legislators and staff can work safely and in surroundings that help us reflect California's history as we build for California's future. As Majority Leader, Bob has herded trains and made the cats run on time. And I am still in awe over how he has done that, just as I am about the thoughtful, artful way he has negotiated compromises that prevent costly and unhelpful initiative wars on the ballot. Call it a record, call it a legacy. Bob, what you have given us, your constituents and the people of California, has been outstanding, and we thank you for that. And now, if I may, I'd like to close with a poem I've written about Bob's public service. Bob got his start driving Merv Donnelly. I'll tell you more, but I'm out of timely. So, Senator Hertzberg, Majority Leader Emeritus, former Speaker, always the headline, always the lead, always the leader.
Thank you, Madam Pro Tem. Senator Hertzberg.
I get this from my mom. He goes, Craig. Thanks, Brother Dodd. Appreciate it. I won't miss you because we're going to be hanging out together. And Madam Pro Tem, appreciate the confidence you have. You know, certainly for those of us who've been around, the majority leader job has not been a real job, and you made it a real job, partly because you were a majority leader in the other house, and also the confidence you placed in me. And where's the pipsqueak? Where is he? He's never. Have you ever seen him in his chair yet? My seatmate over here, Bukowski, and I always sit together, and we figured I'll just stay there because Senator McGuire will never be there because he's doing 25,000 steps a session. But he's doing an extraordinary job. But thank you, Madam Pro Tem. I really appreciate it. You know, as I thought about today, I didn't write very many notes. All I did was two things. I want to add a few things. But one of my favorite books, I've talked to a few of you people about this. This is the first edition of Living Philosophies, written in 1931. And it's compiled by Clifton Fadiman, who was the editor of the Encyclopedia Britannica, for anybody who's old enough to remember that the Encyclopedia Britannica exists, Senator Laird. And so he asked a whole host of thinkers to put together a living philosophy. And most of them were men at the time in 1931. He did it again 50 years later, and half were women, half were men. But in both editions, in 1960 or 70 as it was, and in 1931, the lead philosophy, the lead story, is by Albert Einstein. I'm going to read the opening line because it, to me, informs our thinking. Strange is our situation here upon earth. Strange is our situation here upon earth. Each of us coming for a short visit, not knowing why, yet sometimes seeming to divine a purpose. For each of us, that purpose is service. Whatever our story, whatever our background, we're not here to make money. We're not here to be treated well as politics is getting tougher and tougher, but to meet the challenges, to give life to democracy, which is ugly and difficult and beautiful and great, to bring life to democracy. So I just want to share a couple of thoughts, and that is, first, my view of that purpose is to solve problems people don't know they have. So much of politics is something hits the front page of the paper because we didn't anticipate it, or we didn't know about it, or whatever the case may be is. And our genius in this business, what I always like to say is that God is in the details. It's not the devil in the details, because if we focus, if we look around the corner, if we think ahead, we solve problems for people that are going to happen tomorrow. I've been talking about water for years in Southern California, where most Southern California folks of the water world think about just turning on the faucet, and it's the ag communities that care about water. Well, it's important to all of us. Think around the corner. As so many of you know, I gave you a compilation of 100 op-eds that I wrote, inspired by Henry Kaiser. Problems are nothing more than opportunities in working clothes. And if there's anything that informs my thinking, that's it. This Senator Dodd said, take on the biggest challenges. As I said last night in the video, jump out of the building. We are not here to sit in the sidelines. We're here to do the tough stuff. And it's hard because If you were the owner of the telegraph company and along comes the telephone company, there's 1,000 reasons why the telegraph operators will be thrown out of business. And there's a lot of reasons why you got to think about all the people in the Morse code schools. But we have to invent the future. We have to think about that in a very different way. And it's hard because systemically this place is about looking backwards, not looking forwards. The institutions that have the money and the influence, or whether they're for-profits or not-for-profits, are preserving the status quo. We represent the vision and that future, and it's hard. So I tackle those tough problems for those reasons. Not always right. I always tell the people with whom I work, whether it's in private sector or public sector, I want you to make mistakes 25% of the time. Because if you're worried that you're going to make a mistake, you're not going to expand your horizons. You're not going to push hard. You're not going to do what that is. If you make 50% mistakes, you're out of here. But 25%, that's the way it works. And so the last thing, and Senator Hueso mentioned this, but I actually am doing it in detail because I don't want to take up too much time. I wanted it to take most of my time. I want to list the names. I hate the word staff. It's impersonal. These are human beings, all of whom give up their lives, their weekends. They too are dedicated to service. They too have defined a purpose. And that is in a different capacity, maybe not on this floor, in this great chamber, but they're the people in my world on whose shoulders I stand. Diane Griffiths, John Waldy, Kara Johnson, Jessica Meadows, Judith Garvey, Bill Craven, Dennis O'Connor, Catherine Moore, Julissa Delgado, Elizabeth Borges, Daniel Villasenor, Anna Mora, Thomas Lee, Bill Cavala, James Hansen, Jay Hansen, Hansen, Joe Remcho, Eveline Bravo Ayala, Freddie Quintana, Rick Simpson, Jeff Leader, Norma Zendejas, Michael Bedard, Christine Ari, Ray Sotero, Maggie Linden, Paul Hefner, Joe Byrne, James Toma, Stuart Wallman, Mary Worth-Gervin, Sherry Greenberg, Erica Contreras, Jerry McGuire, Sue Hyland, Colin Grinnell, Anton Favorini-Cosma, Marissa Lanchester, Cynthia Castillo, Priscilla Quiroz, Patty Hansen, Jose Cornejo, Jane Leonard Brown, Craig Cornett, John Decker, Rich Seiger, Jim Wisely, Lynn Montgomery, Dominique Jones, Zaire Bailey, Elise Thoreau, Carol Baker, Christopher Carlisle, Tony Bowie, Martin Bowie, Tara Grantham, Alex Barnett, Catherine Charles, Tammy Trin, Miriam Borzis, Katie Hanslick, Brady Borcherding, Steve Shea, Victor Torres, Charlie Loudon, and Miriam Jaffe. I honor them. They honor us. They are the people who so much work is hidden, but is critical, and we all know it. I want to give them honor. Thank you all so very much.
Thank you, Senator Hertzberg.